Hey, we're back with more viewer tattoos. I think we're getting close to 100 episodes of viewer tattoos now.
Woohoo, we'll have to have like a party or something.
I don't know. We did Kevin and I did a 50 episode, like we did the best of the best and the worst of the worst, but overall I don't think anybody gave a shit, and most people didn't watch like the early Remy Reacts. A lot of that audience is either silent or long gone, so some of the early ones people didn't remember, and it was probably only fun for Kevin and I.
Yeah, maybe episode 100 or 100 or something, I can stick my face in the camera and say hey.
Yeah, maybe
not. Anyways, so the first one says, hey Remy, love the channel and journey. I'm from Canada, us too. And I seen your video on how people always put girls' faces on their sleeves. Well, here's a start of my sleeve of Zeus and Spartan. They're fully healed. And these are no girl faces.
This is a really terrible photo.
Absolutely horrible.
I think I can recognize a Spartan.
I see the back half of it.
A Roman warrior of something, but like...
Yeah.
It should be faced the other way. I'm pretty sure. Like, unless this photo is inverted or something. But even then,
it's
like...
the inside of the arm?
Yeah, it's the inside of the arm.
Portraits are supposed to face the inside on the inside of the arm.
It looks wrong to me that it's not looking at me.
It just doesn't look like it's far enough over. Like, it's too far one direction.
Well, it's way too small. And the fur on the helmet or whatever the hell it is just so light. Like, it shouldn't be really, really sharp looking, but it's so light. Like, given the fact that this tattooer was able to get that hard black in there, tells me that they could saturate this and chose not to.
Yeah, there's too many like gray tones in the full tattoo there. Like, they should have been able to throw some little bits of that really nice black in there.
Honestly, looks like two different tattooers. It looks like someone came in and did this black for this guy, and he just did the rest of it.
I just think this is an artist that's too afraid to go dark. And I think that if they went in and put some dark in there, it would be way better.
This is so easy to sharpen up. It's like... But, like, the sizing you'll never be able to do anything about. I think that the actual face is too small. Like, that face, like the helmet, should have been this whole chunk.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think the base of the tattoo is decent, though.
It's not god-awful, but, like, it's just a confusing choice to make to do, I'm going to do all this, like, texture around it, but not have the actual thing in focus. Like, maybe if we got the other side of this arm or something, we could see more of it, but, like, I want that front and center.
Right.
Especially, he didn't say, I have armor on me, right? He said he had a Spartan on him. So, like, let's get the Spartan then.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because that's not in frame enough here. So, it looks like he's got, like, a Colosseum behind him or something. And then this is Zeus. See, again, is that what he said, Zeus?
I think so.
Let's look back so I'm not making an ass of myself. Yeah, Zeus. So... This is, again, like, this doesn't look like it was done by the same guy that did that black. Like, that's just a mush.
Well, it's either, like, a really awful photo or...
no, that's a mush burger.
Well, there's just no black. I think it would be a really cool tattoo if there was some actual black in there.
It's too small. Like, there's a lot going on in there. That's a full sleeve.
Well, I think they could have done a full sleeve out of it,
Is that a horse down there? I see, like, a horse's face in that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It is. It's a horse.
It's a lot to fit in such a small spot.
That's, like, really, really crazy.
I do think it's a cool tattoo. I definitely think it needs black and more space,
That is
though.
a full sleeve.
Yeah, I think so,
You do Zeus up here, build this crazy horse and all this bullshit behind it. There's your sleeve.
Yeah.
Spartan, other side of the bicep.
All the way down. I
build
agree.
Build it down. Do the armor, the Colosseum behind the Spartan. You got two full sleeves. This is, like, way, way too small. Especially the Zeus is really, really... strangely placed.
I
if
agree.
you came over to me and you had a tattoo placed like this, it'd be like, what are you doing? You drunk?
Yeah, well, you're making it harder on yourself putting it in such a small space, I think.
Yeah, do this in big, bold, lots of detail, but like in a way that you can fully illustrate all of those things and they don't blob up into this.
Big boy space.
Because, like, the fact that I'm pretty fucking sure that's a horse. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I'm not 100% positive means that it might not be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
that could just be stuff.
Right now, it's a lot of blur to me, but...
and if it is a horse, then it needed to be done differently.
I definitely want some darkness in this sleeve for sure.
Yeah. I like the themes, but yeah, it's just blur. I know it's a bad picture, but even if you got a good picture, it's just too much of the same tone. Like this is just a blob monster.
Blurby.
Yeah. It's too
Blurby?
bad.
What was it? Blurby.
A blorb.
All right, so the next one, Teenage Years sleeve from Tommy says,
We're in for a treat.
yeah, I've been meaning to send these pics into you for a while now. Started the sleeve on my 18th birthday in 2011 with a maple leaf. Added a couple more within a year. What?
Fuck, I'm old.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, right. Added a couple more within a year, but after getting the rose on my elbow, I suddenly felt regret and wasn't sure what I wanted anymore. I'm now 30 and still haven't figured out what to do about it. I was hoping you could give me some suggestions and let me know what you think. Black it out.
Wow.
He doesn't have much going on.
He does and he doesn't, right? Like, so the problem is some of that is pretty dark. None of the lines are really crazy. I feel like some of this could laser out fairly easily. Although, like, when you said he doesn't have a lot going on, you're kind of wrong, though, because, like...
the top half of his arm.
It's not just that, though. When you do a cover-up, you need to be able to build, like... And since he's checked both his lower arm and his upper arm, it's like, it's a little bit difficult. If he had just done one or the other, then you could just go, oh, we'll just cover the top and build off of it. Mm-hmm. But now we have to incorporate top and bottom into this. So if you're laying the sleeve out, the hardest part of this cover-up would be tackling what's on the bottom of this first. And then he's got this red maple leaf here, right?
Yeah.
And he's got some stuff on the inside of his arm, too.
Just hit the X. There we go. Yeah.
So, like, he's kind of just fucked himself all over the place. Like, when you look at this on the back of the forearm, too, like, it's actually not an easy fix now.
Yeah, when I first glanced at it, I was like, oh, that's not so bad. But now I'm just thinking that I feel like, you know how we've done a few of those kind of fusion sleeves at our shop where you'll black out part of the sleeve and then do, like, the opaque... No?
Well, I mean... The thing is like, there's so much going on the lower part of this.
Yeah, I black it out.
Yeah, the lower arm is most likely best off being a black, because like you could laser some of this off fairly easily. Like I'm not seeing too many hard lines, but like it would be quite a bit of sessions to get it light enough to cover over this. But you're gonna have to do that everywhere. I'm
thinking like you black out the lower half, and then you can put something over top of it eventually. And then maybe do something fresher on the topper half.
The topper half?
The topper half.
I mean, what's on top doesn't concern me that much.
Right.
Like, you could do, like, what I told Ashlyn to do with that wolf on Trevor's arm the other day. They were talking about blacking that out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think you need to black that out. Because, like, the black isn't that strong in there anymore. That's, like, 30-year-old tattoo.
Right.
So, like, for reference... Trevor, our shop bum here at the shop, has a whole bunch of shit on his arm that he doesn't want anymore, but it's all like really old. And so one of our apprentices here at the shop is lining out a new tattoo over top of it, and is just going to cover it with black and opaque rather than blacking it out. Now the problem with this is that a lot of this stuff is still pretty dense. So even the stuff at the top, though there's not really thick line weights used, it's pretty black. So, like, the opaques are going to have a harder time covering that straight
But that's
up.
why I'm saying black it out and then
You'd
go
have
in
to
with
black
your
out
whites.
The top, too, most likely.
Well, I mean, you have that space in the middle, though. Like, I think you could do, like, a weird fusion of fresh skin and non-fresh skin. Like, I think it could be interesting.
I think you'd just fill the negative with opaques so that it looked continuous. rather than like that back piece we seen not long ago where they did a cover up in the center of the back and then they used the negative branching off of it and it looked tonally inconsistent and that therefore it really framed it looking like a cover up.
Yeah.
Like this would be best done to do, go see a guy like Andre Makishi we featured on here and just have him blast over all of this with opaques and black. And yeah, a master of opaques could do that. Otherwise, I actually do think that the best option is blackout. And like, because like if you're going to go full color over, and I don't know that he wants to do that, there just isn't a whole lot of room to distract and build off of this design. He didn't leave much room. Because like as we started swiping through and I see stuff on the inside of his arm
that
too,
leaf
I'm like,
and stuff.
and the leaf and the face, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you just had to put a little bit everywhere.
Black. I just think black. Just make it black.
Well, and lasering off color is a whole other thing too. So there's gonna be people that are like, oh, that's bad advice. He doesn't have his whole. Why would he need to black? It's like lasering off color is a specialized procedure, and it takes way longer generally. And normal laser isn't great fit. If you had a few tattoos, I could say laser, but this is a full blown mess. And it's a little bit like what Ashlyn's arm was, where she just kind of fucked herself all over the place. It was still a lot of space left, but the spaces weren't great to work off of. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So there's just not a lot of direction to build cover-ups off of here.
Yeah, and it looks like he's even got some on the inner arm.
Yeah.
Too, right?
And whatever you did do would most definitely need to be full color. Color covers this shit better than black and gray, and most of his work now is black and gray. So I really think blackout and then do some opaques and whites and color or whatever over top of it later is probably your honest to God, not just because I've done this, but like
it seems to be.
I also do laser here at the shop.
Well, I mean, it seems to be the best way to start fresh on a sleeve.
Well, when you've made this much of a mess, yes. It doesn't always have to be the case, but here it kind of is. There's a lot going on here.
I agree with that.
So.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one. So this one says, "Hey Remy, I'm working on a sleeve right now, almost done, or am I? Should I go darker in parts of the sleeve? I feel like I need to go darker around the Gothic nun to help the flow, perhaps. Any advice would be awesome. Thanks, love your content."
I like the cut of this guy's jib.
Yeah.
Right? He's asking the same sorts of questions that I am, where it's like, more contrast. How do I get more contrast? Okay, so
I think this is already fairly high
this is
contrast.
pretty good. Right away, I would say you could probably get a little bit more contrast in the flowers.
Yeah, that's what
like
I'm
they're
thinking
standing
too.
out a bit.
Yeah. Right
Everything
around
else,
this region under the
I'm
skull.
thinking more like this rose here.
Okay.
That's sticking out of his glass, like the glasses of this bottom skeleton or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
That thing looks like it was done by a different artist and incorporated into this design.
Maybe it was. You never know.
The bottom rose here looks tonally different than the rest, and I like that it's tonally different, but I like the tonally different that they've already got going on everywhere else.
I like the amount of black that's on the inside of the arm. I don't think there's enough black on the outside.
I'm telling you, like the only thing, because he asked, the only thing that I would say I would add black to is the roses, because they look light. Like, they look like their shading is quite light, and not bad, just very light compared to the balance that they have everywhere else. Now I'm looking here on this picture. You can see down here in this wispiness.
Needs a little more black.
I feel
down
like
there.
that could be darker as well. Just the inside could be darkened up to the same level of the background, and I think that would
help with the flow.
But like this. See, so many people will probably find me too critical, but these are the questions I say of myself all the time, right? Like I'm always trying to crank up contrast, and like
I think a good contrast in a tattoo is extremely important,
especially in black and gray, because you're not using different colors to pull things apart. So if you're not using the lightest lights and the darkest darks and good
if
balance,
it's all mid-tones, it's just mud.
You've got no contrast ratio. And
like those first tattoos we were looking at. They're muddy because it's all mid-tone.
Yeah, so to give this credit, this is one of the better balanced black and gray sleeves we've had sent in, I think, ever. actually. Like, this is a really, really high contrast sleeve already, and there's just always going to be room for improvement. So those would be my recommendations. Take them or leave them. Yeah, pretty cool sleeve otherwise, though. I like the subject matter, and I like how it all blends together.
Yep, I agree.